He sat here opposite me. Man's got balls, and in today's society, in this boxing game, there's a big lack of balls. And you know who you are, these people who
have to be a little bit crazy. And I think that's not just me, I think that's in every vertical and every discipline. You do something, you have to be a little bit crazy and obsessed with what...
Trilogy.
You want it still?
Listen, greedy belly, give me $1 billion, you take trilogy.
At a press conference that quickly turned intense, Tyson Fury suddenly took over the spotlight after an emotional outburst during the face-off between Alexander Usyk and Rico Verhoeven, where he questioned Usyk's decision-making and insisted the fight should have been against him instead, while also downplaying Verhoeven as unimpressive. The situation escalated almost immediately, flipping the atmosphere from controlled discussion to complete chaos and heightened tension in the room.
And I'm a HMS destroyer. So when you got two heavy forces colliding with massive bombs, and guess what? Someone's getting knocked out. That's all I'm saying, you know. If he lands a punch on me, a big swing, I'm getting knocked out. If I land a big swing on...
wants to run it back with Usyk. He thinks in his mind he won those first two fights. You know, I don't, but they were close fights. And, you know, every fighter wants to try and avenge a defeat. I don't think anyone's really interested in that fight. And you know, obviously the fight that I want, and I think the whole country...
After Tyson Fury's heated outburst, Alexander Usyk responds with calm control, refusing to get pulled into the drama and instead shutting down the disruption with composed confidence. He then directly addresses Fury, challenging him to step beyond the talk and make things serious by putting real stakes on the table, even referencing an enormous $1 billion offer and pushing the idea of another trilogy showdown, making it clear that he is fully prepared for any challenge that comes his way.
What Tyson do is blah, 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 blah. It's as a normal Tyson Fury every time a lot of speak. Hey, you bodybuilder, you sausage, you blah blah blah, you blah 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 blah. Yeah, but we joke. Yeah, Tyson say, I ready fight trilogy with Usyk. We yeah, you know. Hey, listen, you last time say Usyk will be say, if you want trilogy with me, you must say please, please. Hey, greedy, please. Come on.
Tyson Fury responds with full confidence, doubling down on his stance and insisting that if the fight happens, neither side will be stepping back. He acknowledges the challenge, but makes it clear the outcome would be violent and decisive, predicting an explosive clash where a knockout is inevitable. And this only adds more intensity and pressure on Alexander Usyk as the fallout from the press conference chaos continues to escalate.
The world, and we're going to have a fight, and that's it. Going to be a good fight too, because he don't shy away and I'm running nowhere, so someone's getting chinned.
Rico Verhoeven expresses strong admiration for Alexander Usyk, likening him to a dominant figure in kickboxing and highlighting the long-lasting success Usyk has maintained at the highest level of combat sports. He treats this potential crossover as a rare and historic moment, fueling excitement around Verhoeven possibly stepping into elite boxing competition, while Usyk continues to stand as the benchmark of excellence and consistency in the fighting world.
Alexander Usyk is the Rico Verhoeven in boxing.
Yeah.
So like he's been dominating for so long and in such phenomenal fashion. So I was like, wow, if we could do this, that would be like the cherry on the cake.
Lennox Lewis offers a seasoned breakdown of the situation, pointing out how dangerous Alexander Usyk continues to be thanks to his undefeated run and slick movement, while also recognizing Tyson Fury's focused mentality and strong drive to come out on top. He frames the potential matchup as a high-level tactical battle where strategy, timing, and fight intelligence could ultimately determine the outcome between two elite heavyweight forces.
I think, you know, I always love a trilogy, and I believe that Tyson Fury is coming a lot more serious in this fight. He's, you know, he wants to win. Alexander Usyk now, I can't go against him. He hasn't lost yet. So, you know, he's a very positive and great fighter. And
Rico Verhoeven breaks down his fighting approach with calm confidence, emphasizing that although his style is measured and disciplined, his punches become extremely dangerous when they connect cleanly. He also expresses strong enthusiasm about fully transitioning into boxing and improving his hand usage to a higher level. And this growing self-belief adds an extra dimension of danger as he looks ready to challenge himself against top-tier opposition at the highest stage.
Always like very calculated, but yeah, when I connect, I connect. Like I said, there's a lot of weight behind these punches. So yeah, of course, within the kickboxing sport, I was used to just throwing the kicks and doing my thing. But now we get the opportunity to use the hands more. So Peter is like, oh, he's like crazy.
Paul Smith questions the hype around Rico Verhoeven entering world title boxing talks despite limited experience, while also pointing out frustration from other heavyweights being overlooked. He admits Alexander Usyk has earned the right to choose his path after dominating the division. But the debate remains whether the situation is about legacy or business, adding more tension to Usyk's next move and the response from Tyson Fury.
For a long time and not really done much in boxing at all to definitely to warrant a shot at Alexander Usyk when there's a queue so big. And
Indeed.
You know what I mean? And that's the most important thing. The people who are sitting waiting for their shot in line are going to be fuming over this. Some would say, to counter that argument, Usyk's probably earned the right to have an easy.
Simon Jordan highlights the commercial angle behind the proposed crossover bout, arguing that there is likely more driving it than just sporting ambition, and suggesting that neither side would step into such a scenario without a carefully planned motive, especially as crossover fights become increasingly common. He ties the discussion back to Tyson Fury, reinforcing how the situation feeds into the wider heavyweight storyline, where money, legacy, and entertainment all collide in a growing global boxing spectacle.
And I can see how the monetization vehicle of this works, but Usyk wouldn't be doing this unless there's a reason for it. There must be a motivation behind it. It must be some form of derivative as to what happened between the various disciplines crossing over with it.
Spencer Oliver raises doubts over whether Rico Verhoeven deserves an immediate title opportunity against Alexander Usyk, given his very limited professional boxing background, arguing that it disrupts the established pathway of contenders who have spent years climbing the ranks. This criticism increases scrutiny on boxing authorities and intensifies the fairness debate in heavyweight boxing, particularly when elite champions like Usyk become involved in crossover discussions with Oliver, stressing that Verhoeven is still extremely early in his boxing career.
This kid's had one bout as a professional boxer. You go, so, you know, how can he jump the queue and box Alexander Usyk for the WBC title? To me, that doesn't make any sense at all, and I think it makes a mockery, again, of the
Peter Fury takes a balanced stance on the situation, stating that both Alexander Usyk and Rico Verhoeven appear open to the challenge, which makes the matchup seem genuinely possible. He acknowledges them as serious competitors who are willing to take high-level risks, reinforcing the idea that the fight is being fueled by ambition and mutual interest, rather than just media hype or politics, keeping the heavyweight landscape unpredictable and full of intrigue.
Rico wanted the fight, you know, Usyk wanted it. They said both ultimate fighting men, aren't they? So fights like this are not going to be hard.
Ade Oladipo reflects on Rico Verhoeven's remarkable kickboxing career, describing his journey to the top of the sport and his status as a dominant champion with elite striking power and physical control. He also points out Verhoeven's move into boxing, raising curiosity about how those skills will carry over against a fully rounded fighter like Alexander Usyk, ultimately framing the matchup as a fascinating crossover battle between two different combat sports worlds at the highest level.
Usyk steps in and will take on one of the greatest kickboxers of all time. I'm actually quite a big kickboxing fan, so I know quite a lot about him. I've watched a few of his fights over the years. They used to call him the Prince of Kickboxing, and then he elevated to the King of Kickboxing. I mean, he's a very, very, very good kickboxer who's got decent hands.
Peter Fury shows strong respect for Rico Verhoeven, emphasizing his long-standing dominance in kickboxing and his status as a world champion who has repeatedly faced elite-level opposition. He explains that this kind of experience proves Verhoeven is comfortable under pressure and not new to high-stakes environments, while also noting that his growing exposure to boxing shows a fighter who has been adapting over time, creating the impression of someone evolving into a more complete threat, which makes a potential clash with Oleksandr Usyk even more compelling.